Before the strangers drew borders across the sacred land, and before the railroad's iron paths scarred the earth like open wounds, the Lakota people, known as the Teton Sioux, one of the three major groups of the Sioux Nation alongside the Dakota and Dakota, lived entirely by the rhythm of the earth. The massive migrations of the buffalo, herds numbering 30 to 60 million in the early 1800s, and the guiding wisdom of the stars wheeling overhead across the vast northern plains of western South Dakota, eastern Wyoming, parts of Nebraska, and Montana. These noble people were nomadic caretakers of the land, moving with the seasons and the Tatanka, the buffalo that provided all they needed: food from the meat, clothing and shelter and teepees from the hides, tools from the bones and horns, sinew for thread, and even spiritual power from their essence. Always hunting with deep reverence, using every part of the animal, offering thanks to Wakantanka, the Great Spirit, for the gift of life in ceremonies that bound them to the sacred agreements of nature. In those timeless days, the rising sun bathed the golden grasslands in warm light. Buffalo moved like a living river across the prairie, casting long shadows, and the Lakota knew a profound harmony, listening to the wind, the drums of the earth, and the songs of the stars, living lightly as true guardians of the balance that Wakantanka had woven into all things. Gathered in teepees under star-filled skies that seemed to whisper ancient secrets, with embers glowing softly and smoke curling upwards in dreamlike wisps, the Lakota were devoted caretakers of the land, never owners or dominators, guided always by Wakantanka, the great mystery and great spirit who dwells in everything, and held to sacred agreements with nature that demanded respect, gratitude, and balance in every action. Central to their spiritual life is the sacred legend of White Buffalo Calf Woman, Pte Sen Win, who appeared about 2,000 years ago according to oral tradition as a sacred white buffalo calf to two Lakota scouts, transforming into a beautiful woman who gifted them the Chinunpa, the sacred pipe, and taught the 7 sacred rites. The Inupi Sweat Lodge for purification and renewal, the naming ceremony to honor a child's spirit, the rite preparing a girl for womanhood, the Hunkapi for the meeting and adoption of the people, the Wanagi Wasipi for the soul's journey after death, the Wawanyang Wasipi Sun dance for vision and sacrifice, and the sacred pipe ceremony to connect with the divine. She promised to return in times of need as a white buffalo calf, a sign of renewal, purity, and prophecy, with rare births occurring about 1 in 10 million buffalo, such as the miraculous 1994 birth of Miracle, the first captured white buffalo of the 20th century in Janesville, Wisconsin, drawing thousands to witness the omen of hope. But even in those harmonious times, a great change loomed on the horizon, a time of broken treaties, devastating loss, and threats to the very heart of Lakota language, ceremony, and identity. As a lone ancient elder with a weathered face sat by the flickering fire, their voice calm and wise, casting golden glows and deep shadows in the cinematic earth tones. This elder spoke to a young Lakota youth, humble and open-hearted, chosen by the spirits for a sacred purpose, warning that strangers would soon arrive from the east, men who did not honor the sacred agreements with the earth, bringing iron horses on rails, greed for yellow metal, and papers called treaties that promised much but delivered sorrow. The youth listened intently as the elder recounted early signs. Red Cloud's War from 1866 to 1868 forcing the U.S. to abandon the Bozeman Trail forts, and foresaw visions of the land transforming, buffalo vanishing, people forced from their homes, yet urged the youth to seek guidance in dreams, for the spirits would reveal how to endure through spiritual strength, Wicatcoka and Wokantanka. From the swirling smoke and glowing embers emerged a dreamlike vision of the sacred white buffalo calf spirit, translucent and ethereal, glowing softly amidst the vast quiet landscape, coming to the young youth to impart timeless teachings of endurance and remembrance. In the vision, the spirit guided the youth through symbolic scenes mirroring the people's trials. First, the Treaty of Fort Laramie in 1851, where 10,000 Lakota gathered with U.S. representatives to define vast territories, including the sacred Pahasapa, the Black Hills. Then the 1868 treaty shrinking Lakota land to 25 million acres while guaranteeing the Black Hills forever. But betrayal came with Custer's 1874 gold discovery, flooding the hills with 15,000 miners by 1876, sparking the Great Sioux War where Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull led 1,500 to 2,500 warriors to victory at Little Bighorn on June 25, 1876, defeating Custer's 700 men and accounting for 268 dead. Yet U.S. retaliation confined the Lakota to reservations. The Spirit showed the buffalo's tragic near extinction, from 30 million in 1800 to fewer than 1,000 by 1889, hides deliberately slaughtered by the millions. 5 million shipped between 1872 and 1874 to break the people's spirit and starve the tribes, contrasting the Lakota's reverent hunts where every part was honored. Further visions revealed the Dawes Act of 1887 allotting lands and causing the loss of 90 million acres, the forced assimilation, and the heartbreaking Wounded Knee Massacre on December 29, 1890, where U.S. troops killed 250 to 300 Lakota, over 200 women and children, crushing the ghost dance movement inspired by Wovoka's prophecy of renewal. Through pains of broken treaties, vanished buffalo, forced relocations to places like Pine Ridge, and the fading of language with only about 2,000 fluent speakers today, the youth learned the deepest lesson. Violence solves nothing, but the spirit of the people endures unconquered through spiritual resistance. Ceremonies like the Piercing Sun Dance in June-July for visions, powwows, and passing stories to new generations. Exemplified by visionaries like Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Red, Cloud, and Black Elk, whose great vision at age 9 foretold these very changes. Awakening from the profound vision, the young youth grasped the true power of the teachings. They are not mere relics of history, but vital instructions for living well today. Fostering endurance amid modern challenges on reservations like Pine Ridge, with its 2.1 million acres and 40,000 residents facing high poverty, yet sustaining spiritual strength through language revitalization, sun dances, and powwows. The northern plains come alive once more with subtle movements of distant herds or swaying grasses under the vast sky. Vibrant colors symbolizing renewal, as the buffalo spirit returns not in flesh, but as living memory and promise, reminding all that as long as stories are remembered and shared around the fire, ceremonies held, and sacred agreements honored in daily life, the Lakota spirit, and the lessons for all peoples, will thrive eternally. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and leave a comment below to keep the circle growing.